It's the Wolf Media Festival podcast. Today's guests. From the film, Mr. Suits. Actor Andrew Golucki. And now, here's your hosts, Kyle Hollingsworth, Richard Wilmore, and Jacquelynn Wolfheart.
Our guest today had 4 films released last year alone, which is not too shabby for someone who started acting in 2022. His film, Mr. Suits, has won him a Wolf Media Festival Award for Best Lead Performance in a Horror Short. These names have got to get shorter. I have to talk to someone about that. These are tongue twisters. Please welcome Andrew Golucki. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, guys. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Thanks for being here. We're great. How are you?
I'm, living the dream, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Good. I want to start with your name because, as like someone who is an actor who's out there who wants his name, like Golucki could probably be the best name you could probably have, but I have learned that that's not actually how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, so my parents are from Poland. I grew up speaking Polish and, eating Polish food. So that's an important part of my identity. But, like when you're talking and introducing yourself in America and, English is my main language and everyone that I talk to pretty much, so much easier to say go lucky. And, they always think it sounds cool. So, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards right now, but I still feel, I guess, a little bit of obligation towards my ancestors who would have wanted me to pronounce it correctly. But go lucky is good for right now because that's what I use normally.
How are you supposed to pronounce it?
The real pronunciation is Golucki. But that's that's a tough pronunciation if you don't speak like a Eastern European language.
Well, sick to Golucki. My last name used to be Karlinski, also good old Polish name.
That's an Eastern European name, is it?
Yes, but mine was SKY, and then everybody would spell it SKI, and then when I got married and divorced, I was like, nope, I'm sticking to Wilmore. Much easier to pronounce and spell. Yeah, I get that. Where were you when you found out about the Wolf Media Award?
I think I was, just at my desk a regular work day, and then I saw the post. I saw I got tagged in that post, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Mr. Suits won an award." And I swiped to the next slide. I'm like, "Wait, when did this? When did this happen?" I'm like, "Oh, August." I was happy. That was my first acting award. So that was definitely a big moment for me, a big milestone. And I messaged Drew, the producer, about it, and he confirmed it. And we both just feel really good about it. We got to get Drew on here. He's a good person to talk to. He's a very interesting guy. He's been he was the producer and director of Mr. Suits and cinematographer. Like he's the reason it looks so damn good. Like with that, it was a shoestring budget, and he is so perfectionist with every shot that he creates that I would recommend him for like any project, no matter anywhere in the country. Like I can't recommend him enough. So he did so much for that. He did so much on his own for that project. He did sound, cinematography, writing, directing, producing, and editing. So I would definitely I'll reach out to him to see if I can get him on here.
Can I tell a little backstory more about their winning? Because
sure, because I don't know if I know it.
That's what's so funny to me is you and I forget your co-star,
Alex.
They had no idea that they won until they got tagged in the second post in the more recent post where I've just been posting like the group post of all the wins. For all the wins for the year that have been coming out, that is how they found out they won. So they won months ago.
I wonder if the email went to spam or something. That must be the explanation, right? Because you said
it could be.
Yeah, because you said you email the winners when it happens, right?
Yes. So your co-star messaged me on Instagram and was like, asking all these questions, like, what is going on? What is happening right now? And then I was like, this is where I got it from. And then this is who I contact, and like I had to keep going back. And I'm like, as soon as I get home, I'll look this up and let me find out. And I was like, this person from this agency and this person from this place. And so like so much for confusion for you guys. And it was like so cute to me that I could just tell it meant so much to you both to be so
Yeah, it did.
confused.
It definitely meant a lot to us because we're both,
It was
he
cute.
has a little bit more experience than me, but a couple more years. But we're both, relatively new to it. So just like any kind of award is going to be, a new kind of sensation.
Yeah. It was pretty silly. Pretty, from my point of view, I can only imagine to just randomly get tagged in a post 5 months later, and that's how you found, like 5 months later is when they're finding out. That's
but I wasn't mad about it being 5 months later. It's better late than never.
right.
And yeah,
Tell everybody about the film, the short film Mr. Suits. And then I have a question about, tell everybody about Mr. Suits first. It's available on YouTube. I watched it, and it was the middle of the day in the sunlight, and I jumped multiple times, which is not good, I guess, if you just don't watch this at night. In 4 minutes, a lot can happen. But tell everybody about the film and who you play in the film.
Yeah, so I play like the lead character. He's a CEO kind of, executive corporate douchebag type. And he, starts the film starts with him taking a phone call, angry about something and, being a jerk to somebody on the phone. And then he runs into Mr. Suits, which is like this, creepy looking villain in a suit. And, it's very short, but it gets to the point and it's very succinct. And obviously I recommend everybody watch it. And yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but I could say it's short. It's it looks really good. And I'm just really proud of it because that was that was unexpected for it to get the views that it did. I remember Alex reached out to me randomly one day. He's like, hey, my friend Drew Benton wants to or he wants you for this project. Let me send you over the script. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah, it's going to be a micro short for YouTube. I don't know, or I don't have many other plans for it, but let's just knock this thing out in one night at this parking lot at 8 p.m. And, we'll move on from there. So we started shooting around 8 p.m. and we got done around 3 a.m. Because film takes time, especially when you want it to look good. It just takes time. And I had to do a bunch of takes because I was struggling a bit to get into the right headspace, which happens, especially for newer actors. But I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I did the casting. It's not available yet on IMDb or anything. It's not widely advertised, marketed, or publicized, but I can say that episode 2 is actually in post-production right now. It's been shot.
Spoiler alert.
It has more like explanation as to what happened and and the origin of Mr. Suits. I don't want to give away too much, but it has a lot more to it. Just because the first, kind of like short proof of concept short film, it's so short that there wasn't much explaining in it of like the story, that this has a little bit more background to the story. And I'm really excited to see how it turned out. There's like a team of post-production people working on it. It's much bigger now.
When you're filming something so short, it's 4 minutes. It's still taking a long time. It's not like you walk in and 20 minutes later you have this 4-minute film. Is there pressure when it's so condensed like that and you have to get so much in so little time? Is there more pressure, or is it just the same amount of pressure when you're filming a 2-hour film?
Well, so, there's definitely pressure for it to get done. But I'd say the more pressure is like, I mean, that you can come back and like, if you have to get coverage for these kind of informal, low cost shoots, that like you can come back and film another day. But the bigger pressure I would say is like just for that one specifically is because like we were up till like 3 a.m. so on like a weekday, so we just wanted to get home. So that's where a lot of the pressure I think was, is we wanted to get it done so we wouldn't crash our cars driving back home. I think that's where a lot of the pressure was. But so like as opposed to, so if you're shooting like a longer feature film, right? Like I mean like that has a lot of pressure too. Especially for like, the independent. I mean, I'm sure, I mean, I've never been on a bigger project, like on like a theater wide release or a network TV project. But I know for like the independent films, when you're shooting, those, they're oftentimes also in a really short time frame. Like it could be like for an hour and a half feature film. I did one that was, it was called A Scarf for Joey, and that's a mob, Cleveland mob film that's coming out, independent mob film that's should be coming out later this year, but I'm not 100% sure on that. A trailer is out for it. But yeah, so we shot that over like, I don't know, 10 or maybe not 10 days, but not too many days for an hour and a half movie. And that there's a lot of pressure to get stuff done. And it's like time is like very much of the essence. And but the most pressure I think I've ever felt on a project is probably the 48-hour film festival. I directed one of those recently, and I want to release that soon. It's just there's this kind of anxiety of releasing your projects when you're the one who directed it. There's just something about it. You're like, it's just never quite right, so you're afraid to release it. So I haven't released it to the public yet. But I should submit it for Wolf if you guys are still taking submissions for February.
Every month. Hello.
Yeah, I should submit that to Wolf. But yeah, so we finished post-production on that not too long ago. And it's like finishing in 48 hours, like writing, filming, and post-producing a short film, even if it's only 47 minutes, is just like absolutely insane. So if you want to talk about time pressure, I don't know if you guys have done 48-hour film fests. I'm sure people have talked about them on before here.
Yeah, yes, that's like people who do like soap operas, right? Like it is a full feature in every day, and you have to. There's so much that goes into that. What got you into acting?
Yeah, so I moved to Cleveland with my girlfriend, who is in the other room actually taking an exam for medical school at Case Western Reserve. Very bright girl, and I needed something to kind of fill my time to just start fresh. And I'm like, I was watching, I forgot what show I was watching. Maybe it was Shameless, but I was watching some show that I was like rewatching or watching some show I really liked. And there's like a really like raw emotional moment for one of the characters. And I'm like, how do these actors like train themselves to get there on demand, take after take, within the confines of the imaginary circumstances in this script? Like how do they do that? So I just was like, all right, let me Google an acting school around here. I found the Hood School of Acting in Cleveland. And I went there, and it was just like, they teach the Meisner technique. So it's going to look a little bit different than what you'd expect an acting class to look like. But I knew that I was seeing good acting. I just didn't really understand how they were getting there. So I decided to come back after my free audit, I came, which is, sitting in on a class just so you can like see if you're interested for free. And I came back, and, I decided to sign up for a fresh month of classes, and I was like instantly hooked from like the first exercise I did. And, it's just, I really in the beginning focused on just getting better at acting, like not worrying about like agents' headshots as much, or like submitting for roles as much, just because I wasn't comfortable in my ability at all. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about that school. And I think that like probably the best part about acting for me is is learning the craft, not like not anything else for me. It's like the pursuit of, you know, the art. And it's just something that like actors like these, when you look at these performances by some of your favorite actors, like usually like they put in so much work, and like some of the stories you hear of what they do to prepare for these roles is just like absolutely insane. And I find that really inspiring that someone would want to put so much of their life into making people see themselves on TV, if that makes sense. Like it's a very raw portrayal of the human condition, and those Meisner classes that I took really specialize in digging deep into uh, like building emotionally rich scenes.
Now that you've done a couple characters, do you find that your method of getting into character has changed?
Yeah, it's constantly evolving. Like um, I'm like, you know, we're all always students, so, but you know, I'm constantly trying to figure out different ways to evolve my personal, you know, technique on how to prepare for a role or how to prepare for an audition. It's just constant training, constant, um, you know, trying different things, reading different books. And I haven't by any means locked it down to something that I'm like comfortable with. And I find that it changes depending on what script you're looking at. If you're looking at a script that you have a lot of personal relation to, like you're like, yeah, this is me. Like I've experienced so much of what's in this script. That's gonna be a lot different than if you're preparing for something that just have no, like, that you just don't feel any connection to, which is, in my opinion, much harder. Um, I remember in class doing a scene about Rothko. He was a artist in the 1950s, and my scene partner in class did a lot better than me. But that's because he was, you know, very passionate, and he did so much work to prepare for the role of Rothko. Like he read, you know, so many books on Rothko and went to the museums, and you know, he was like, yeah, the work doesn't end. It can always be better. Like I could work on this for another 3 months. I could work on this scene for another year, but you know, we gotta move on because it's class and we gotta learn other stuff.
What made you then take the leap to directing?
That's just something I always wanted to try. I have a bit of a kind of a control freak complex in my DNA. Um, you might not see it from talking to me, but whenever I was like, you know, working with people in class and stuff, I always felt like I had to bite my tongue a little bit just to like give my opinion on stuff. So I really wanted to try directing. So I dove into it on a 48-hour film, which was, in hindsight, absolute insanity to do your first movie on a 48-hour film. But, you know, we ended up getting a nomination for Best Film, and a bunch of other nomination, like 7 other nominations out of like 30 eligible films. So that was a really good feeling to have my first short get a ton of nominations. It didn't win anything, unfortunately, so awards night was a little depressing for us, but you know, we were still grateful.
Nominations is still awesome, though. That's still
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, but it's just it could be, I think it could be tough when you have like more of them, just because it's like you're like, come on, at least let me hit on some,
At least
just one.
one.
Let's hit on just one.
Even if it's not mine, if it's someone else in the cast, like someone wins
Like
something.
editing,
Yeah.
like I didn't do anything for editing, but like let my editor get, like, it's still top 5 out of 30 is huge, especially for a first time director. But it's like you always have that little bit like, oh, what if? Like it would have been
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. What was your
Do you think
48-hour film about? Sorry.
It was like a it was a who done it, who
Hmm,
killed me.
that's fun.
And it was, we got because the way that 48s work is you get 2 genres and a prop, like the night of the
Right.
drawing. So we got a tomato, and we got film noir / whodunit. And the funny thing is, like, so you could either pick one genre, or you could mix both. We picked whodunit, but then we didn't even realize that we had done a film noir as well. Like, if you watch it, you're like, okay, this is a film noir whodunit, like textbook. So it was like, it's just funny.
That's nice.
That we didn't, because we submitted it as just film noir. Just whodunit, like in the categories sheet. But then when we rewatched it, like after we had, gotten some sleep, because you're barely sleeping for those 4 to 8 hours, and like, oh, this is just a whodunit, just submit it at the very end. You're just like, wait a second, this is also a film noir. So I don't know, that's kind of funny. But yeah, I hope to be releasing that on YouTube soon. We want to get it out in the festival circuit. We've just been kind of slacking on that end in terms of submitting it to festivals. It's just not something that I've done yet, but it'll be my first round as a director to submit to multiple festivals. So I definitely want to do that. Directing is fun, and I want to direct more, but it's very time consuming. I have a full-time job, and it can get expensive because you're paying for a lot of stuff out of pocket for these smaller smaller independent projects. So I want to direct more. I love directing. I really do.
What is coming up next for you?
Coming up next for me, the one thing I have coming up next is a winter film, short film I'm filming on Saturday. I definitely don't want to give away anything just because, I didn't write it and I'm not directing it, so I don't want to overstep the director's boundaries on that. But it's for the winter film competition. I'm not too familiar with it, but I do know that I'm pretty sure it's kind of like the 48, but you get more time for like a month or something. But you get like, I think you get a genre and a prop for it. But I'm really looking forward to it, and that's going to be a bit of a drive for me. 4-hour drive to go film that. But that's the life of an actor. Sometimes you just, not because you want to get paid or anything like that. Like, oftentimes, you do want to get paid, especially once you level up. But a lot of it is just like, you'll get in a car and drive for 4 hours just because you want to create, not for any other reason. And I think that's why we have like agents and unions, is because it's like, we would do it for free if there wasn't someone on our in our corner.
We should definitely get paid. Everybody should get paid because you're working very hard. What is a great way that people can connect with you and follow you and see what you're up to?
Yeah. So my social media, my Instagram is currently my nickname in Polish, so it's going to be hard for people to pronounce, but I'll spell it. It's JEDREKG96. So I might change that to make it easier for people to find me. But I will. You guys have my Instagram, so you can also.
I'll put it in the notes and type it on the screen for anybody who watches.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Also, please tell me 96 is not the year you were born, is it?
Oh yeah, that's the year I was born.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Is that bad?
I think I have siblings that were born that year, though, too. So.
Makes me feel very old, but it's fine.
That
Will we see you at the festival in April?
That's gotta. I mean, that would be a flight for me, so I really want to go. It just depends on like if I want to shell out the money for those plane tickets. That's what it depends on. So I really want to go, and I definitely want to meet people.
Put the pressure on him, Richard.
Yeah,
and networking. It's just a money thing strictly. That's it.
Well, I hope we see you. I hope we see more of your films in submission. I don't look at any of the submissions, but I hope other people who are the judges see them, and we hope that you come back to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah, I
coming
mean, I
today.
hope to be back, and I hope to get Drew and Alex on here. You know, they're great guys, and I'd want you guys to meet them. So I'll talk to them.
Same. I would love to meet them both.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys so much for
Thank you. The film is Mr. Suits. This is Andrew Golucki, and we'll take a break and be right back after this.
Richard, are you excited that we're doing the festival at the Hilton?
Beyond, not just for the festival, but that we're doing everything at the Hilton. We're staying there. The festival's there. I'm going to go to the bar there. I'm going to have breakfast there. It's like one-stop shop.
Yay! It's actually the Hilton Melbourne we're staying in, I think.
I'm very excited.
And guests can also stay there too.
They sure can. They can call. You have to call. The number's down below. And then you use the guest code Wolfheart to unlock exclusive savings for that weekend.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see everybody there.
It'll be fun. See you soon.
Check the links below or call 321-768-0200 and use code Wolfheart when booking to unlock exclusive deals for our festival guests.
I love that was his first podcast, and he did great.
I hope we didn't scare him too much. I probably didn't scare him as much as I didn't go when I went to watch Mr. Suits. I was like, how like creepy can it be? 4 minutes, and the first. I don't want to give anything away, but the first reveal, I jumped, and it didn't get really any better after that. So
I tried to warn you. I know you don't really like
did.
horror too much, so I tried to warn you.
Movies. No.
It
takes
does
a
have.
lot for me to be scared. I think we talked about this. The last scary movie I saw was The Sixth Sense, which is probably came out the year he was born.
Probably.
But they did a great job.
Yeah, I can't believe just one night. I'm actually really surprised that they just filmed that in one night. I mean, I know it's only a 4-minute film, but really is such good quality for a one night shoot. They did a great job. I love it. I love that for them. And I'm so excited there's a part 2. I'm so happy for them.
I know.
So
I know.
When we were done, I was going to ask him a question about it see if I can get some more details, but I forgot to ask him a question once before he left.
He would freeze up. I don't think he wanted to reveal anything. Yeah. He was nervous that he would. I'm
gonna message him and be like, "Oh, actually, I just had one more business question, and I was gonna sneak it in." Yeah, it's for the festival. I have to know this.
Yes, it's official business.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Anyways,
yeah.
So anyways, I think people should just, subscribe. If they subscribe to us and listen to this podcast, then they will know when part 2 of Mr. Suits comes out, probably.
True. Or come to the festival and just ask us.
Yes, that's true.
We might not know that either, but you could just come to the festival. That'd be fun.
That is true. And maybe we'll do something Mr. Suits coolness, especially if he's there, we will definitely do something Mr. Suits related.
He better not be there. And I don't want this is not no. Mm-mm.
Oh man. I want to do something cool though. I need to talk to Kyle because I do have not spooky but death related. I want to do something cool with Kyle and I need to talk to her about it. Anyways, that's totally different. So like and subscribe. That's all I got to say.
Yes, and come back next time.
And come back. Bye. I love you guys.
Bye.
Wolf Media Festival Podcast with Kyle Hollingsworth, Richard Wilmore, and Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Produced and edited by me. I'm Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Don't forget to check out the links in the description to find ways you can connect with our guests. Thanks for checking us out today and tuning in every week wherever you get your podcasts.